A really important part of talking about moving to or retiring to Bali is understanding what you can and can't pardon me, what you can and can't bring into Bali. And there are quite a number of things that you can legally, technically bring in, but the cost of getting there is almost, it makes it not worth it. I've been living in New Zealand for the last few years. Before COVID, I had an executive job, I had a good living, I owned a house, I had my vehicles, I love motorbikes, been riding bikes for many years, and my baby, my pride and joy, is this little fella here. And I desperately wanted to try to import it into Bali. However, the cost of getting it there it's impossible. So the only thing I can do is sell it and then try and buy something over in Bali. Well, luckily I've managed to find a buyer. I've dropped quite a few dollars to move it on. It's the middle of winter, as you can tell by my jacket, and I'm in Auckland, New Zealand, just going through my things. I actually moved over to Bali during COVID, so I didn't even have the opportunity to sort of move around and do what I needed to pack up. So I just put everything I owned into 2 shipping containers, stored them on a farm with some friends, and raced over to Bali to be with Fee and Jonathan, and also to help the people of Bali who at that stage were starving. Over a year and a half I've been there. I haven't been back home. I haven't been able to afford to honestly get back home, and we've been so busy helping the people of Bali that winding up my old life was a bit of a second priority. But now I'm over here anyway. I've popped over the ditch, so they say, and I'm here to try and do what I can to move on, I guess, to start my whole brand new life with my partner, with Fee. We only just got married. I've only seen her for a few days after the honeymoon, and then I had to race over to Sydney for my sister's funeral, which was tragic. And thank you all for your good wishes. So my baby's going to go. She's going to a good home. A mate of mine is looking after her for me. God bless him. And my containers, I tell you what, when you've got to pack in a hurry and you've got 20 years of stuff, from canoes to wheelbarrows, a lot of tools. I was an engineer, and I've got a shed full of tools, and I tell you what, it's heartbreaking, but not only it's in a bit of a mess, because when they moved the containers the other day, a few things got dislodged, but trying to work out what you physically can and can't bring. So this brings me back to the next part of the conversation. I looked at, and if anyone over there or anyone watching has any other alternatives, please get on to me. I've got a heap of personal effects that I'd like to get to Bali from Auckland. And everyone I've spoken to says, oh my God, it's bloody expensive. So give you an idea, 1 cubic metre of luggage in a container, a sea freight, which will take a few weeks to get there and whatnot. A cubic metre is close to $1,000 one way, delivered door to door. So if I want 4 cubic metres, and that's, I don't know, probably a good portion of my essentials, it's $3,800. It's bloody crazy. I wanted to bring a lot of my tools over because part of what we're going to be doing in the next 6 to 12 months is helping to build houses and fix and renovate houses for the poor, and just do them up, give them a better place to live. Now, I've got lots of battery drills and lots of power tools, expensive, good stuff too. And to bring it over is costing me thousands of dollars. Even just the hand tools, I can't put batteries in my luggage. I've got to put it in my carry-on. And it's really hard. You can get Makita and DeWalt and stuff over in Bali, but it's often not the high grade stuff that you'll get here in the West. And I've bought Bosch drills and they've just died almost immediately. So like I've got air compressors and I've got a whole workshop set up, and I've got bedroom furniture and televisions and yeah, look, and you know what, this is the thing that I've realized: I don't need it all. In fact, I really don't need much of it at all. I've got a good little life in Bali now. I've got a great family. It's very simple, it's very humble, it's very basic, it's nice. We've done a great job with the house. So taking stuff over isn't actually taking stuff from me, it's taking stuff that I can use to help other people. So I am taking a heap of tools. I've paid extra for some more luggage, but look, even going on a extra suitcase, to bring an extra 30 kilos over, it was something like $850 for one extra suitcase, 30 kilos. That's nearly the cost of a whole ticket. It's astronomical how much extra you have to pay to be able to move stuff around. So moving to Bali, retiring in Bali, you're almost stuck to whatever you can put in your suitcase. And unless you live in Darwin or Perth, somewhere where it's pretty close and you can hop over and grab another box of stuff, you've also got potentially import duties and fees when you get to the other side. So when you get the right sort of visa, or retirement or an investment visa, they give you, I think, 60 or 90 days from when your visa is activated, to bring in your personal effects without having to pay extra baggage. And outside of that, I think it's like 60% of the value of the goods. So honestly, to take my Harley Davidson over to Bali, it would cost probably at least $50,000 for a bike that's not worth that. Amazingly, I've managed to find a motorbike in Bali about the same money. It's a 20-year-old motorbike. It's lovely, but it's old. But I'm picking it up. All bikes over there, anything bigger than 150cc has a big price tag, and it's part of the government tax on luxury taxes and trying to keep the vehicle load low. And so I've managed to get another bike that's just, instead of losing out and giving it up, I've still got something that sort of reminds me of home and reminds me of the 20 years that I've worked really hard to be able to get that stuff. I don't know if I'm going to be riding it very often in Bali because the traffic is not suitable for big vehicles. Those little scooters can duck in and out of the traffic, but I just love getting out on the highway. It's my zen place. It's where I go when I just need some time to think. I jump on my bike. And that thing's got GPS and it's got a big stereo sound on it. It's crazy. But I'm not getting that with a new bike. I'm getting I say new, but I'm getting an old bike, an old classic, and I'm gonna love riding that and taking fee for a bit of a blat. But it is a cost. There is a lot of stuff I look in. It's heartbreaking sometimes to look in my container, to look at all my old stuff. Look, even my clothes. Almost none of them are useful because I come from a cold climate, and all I need in Bali is a singlet and a pair of shorts. That's all I seem to get around in. But keep it in mind, you're going to move to Bali, you are going to have very, very limited access to your old stuff. You're going to have to be very careful what you pick and choose to bring over, and the allowance is pretty bloody expensive, certainly from here. And I guess from Sydney it's maybe not quite as bad, but from New Zealand it's a bloody penny. So just another excitement, another hassle in the concept of moving and living in paradise. I tell you what, it's a beautiful place once you're there. And you do, look, the people that we help up in a village don't even have a bed. So I'm getting selfish about liking and wanting to bring some stuff over, but as I said, the stuff that I'm bringing over, a lot of it is to help those people. So that's why it means so much to me to be able to help. So listen, guys, thanks for all your following and what you've been doing. I'm going to get back in and stuck into the container and see what I can find. It is so good to finally be back on the warm shores of Bali after such an incredible few weeks. I've got the biggest surprise of my life when I turned up to pick up my weather-beaten second-hand Harley Davidson and see what the boys have done to it. They've polished it, they've been in the motor, they've just about stripped the whole motor down and almost given me a brand new motorbike. We've still got a few little bits and pieces, a clutch and a few things to go, but it looks amazing. Now, for those who aren't familiar, I had to sell my bike in Australia. I had a beautiful Harley Davidson, one of the latest models, and I've had that for a few years now. And it's a combination of years of working hard and saving up and paying off a bloody hefty loan. I had to sell that bike to move to Bali. You can't bring them over here. So at the same time, I'm talking to the guys from the bike shop where I rented my bike from for our wedding. And I said, that's such a beautiful bike, I'd love to own it. And they talked to me and we did some wheeling and dealing, and blow me down, what they wanted for that bike was almost exactly what I got for my old bike in New Zealand. So I couldn't bring my bike over, it's too expensive just to get it here, but I can replace it with a classic 20-year-old beautiful chrome and silver Road King. So and I look, the karma hasn't stopped yet. I spoke to you about getting my tools over here and how hard it was going to be to bring 20, 30, 40 kilograms of tools. For 30 kilos, I think it was 820 bucks Kiwi, I think, yeah, whatever. Qantas, thank you guys. You did a bloody good job by me. I put 4 suitcases on their conveyor belt. I told them what we were doing and they waved me through. I gotta say, they did me a solid, and once they found out it was to help other people, they did everything they could to help us. And I managed to get hundreds of dollars of tools, and that bag there, well, it was spread out amongst 2 or 3 bags, but there was nearly 100 kilograms all up, and I'd paid an extra 20 or 30 or something. So I was lucky. I got most of the stuff. Now, why do I want them? Well, look, these saws and these power tools and these hammers and drills and stuff are going to help us to help Bali rebuild some lives of people who have just been decimated by circumstance, and especially by COVID. The only thing I wasn't able to bring through because of weight limits and just because of impossibility is these buggers here, the batteries. So I'm gonna, I've got a couple of mates gonna be coming over soon, and if anyone's going past Bunnings and they just happen to have an extra AEG battery, they're not the cheapest, but I'll tell you what, we managed to bring 2 in so we can get started, but we're going to be going up into the hills where there's no power, so no electricity, or almost impossible to get to it. So what we sort of need to do is have a day's worth of power tool supplies so we can get in and do what we've got to do. Giving up something you love for something that's more important has given me an opportunity to meet my wife, to meet some amazing, hundreds and hundreds of amazing people that come to Bali and just want to help share a little bit of aroha, some love, some mana. And everything I've lost, I've picked up and gained internally tenfold. Nothing more obvious than what I ended up with. I had to get rid of my Harley. Devastated. Sad day. I went to a good friend, so he's going to look after it for me. But look at the beast that these guys built for me. The guys at the motorbike shop. Unbelievable. It looks brand spanking new. They've polished it, they've worked on it, they've pulled it right apart and put it all back together. But this is my new little baby. So look, I'm not going to be using this to go driving around Bali very much. I'm certainly not going to be taking it to some of the places where we deliver food parcels, because you just would never get it up there. But as about the only thing, except for some tools that I've been able to salvage from my old life to start my whole new life here in Bali, I reckon I'm off to a good start. What do you think about this? So this was the 100th anniversary Harley Davidson edition. And I had a very similar bike in Australia a few years ago, and I always said, just I wish I could get a 100th anniversary one. Well, what a stunning and what a beautiful piece of machinery. And it's here, it's registered, it needs a little bit of work, but oh my god, does it sound and go beautifully. It's not stupid loud, and it's got a lot of character because it is a 20-plus-year-old bike, but you'd never know it because it's so well looked after. It's so clean, and I'm stoked. I'm absolutely stoked at what we managed to achieve to get together collectively. So I just can't wait to get into it. I can't wait to go up into the hills and see the smiles and be able to show you the smiles on the faces of the people whose lives were actually physically changing. It's the most rewarding thing. Listen, guys, don't be afraid of change. Don't be afraid to throw it all away and start again. If you've got an adventurous spirit and you want to do something crazy, just do it. At the end of the day, just do it. I'm happy. I'm really happy. Love to be here with my new family. Love to be here in this house that we helped to build and resurrect from what was just about a total write-off. And I love to be helping people whose lives have been resurrected, that were just almost destitute, almost not here. Bali's a beautiful thing. Karma's a beautiful thing too. Guys, from absolutely the deepest part of my soul, I want to thank each and every one of you just for watching these videos, for supporting us, for donating to Bali Donate, the foundation. We're going to make all of the details available for that coming up very shortly. But where we are now is what we've started is now an internationally recognised charitable foundation, and from here onwards and upwards we are going to be helping more people, doing bigger projects and also smaller projects. Those tools are going to help me to fix little old ladies that can't get up and down the front steps, and people with disabilities who physically can't get to a toilet. So it's going to make a big difference to a few lives, and I tell you what, the biggest difference it's made has been to this one right here. Thanks.